Britain's Queen Elizabeth is celebrating her Jubilee in her hometown of Windsor. Thousands took to the streets for the Queen's 50th anniversary celebrations, which conclude tomorrow.
The flags were out and so were the crowds. Waving Union Jacks and wielding cameras, the crowd stretched to see the diminutive monarch as she arrived. The royal couple were in party mood as they watched a light-hearted parade of military bands. Many among the large throng had waited several hours for the moment. For most, it was all over too soon as the head of the royals set off for her next engagement. The Golden Jubilee weekend hits a high note with a pop concert at Buckingham Palace. 12,000 lucky fans will get on down with Her Majesty and other royals.
Thousands greeted Queen Elizabeth II as she rode through London in the glittering State Gold Coach, the finale of a 4-day celebration of her 50 years on the British throne.
In considerable pomp and pageantry, the Queen and Prince Philip travelled from Buckingham Palace to St. Paul's Cathedral in the coach which was last used 25 years ago for a Thanksgiving service. It was the first time the State Gold Coach, which was built in 1762, had been used by the Queen since the Silver Jubilee celebrations in 1977. Today's events followed last night's spectacular pop concert at Buckingham Palace, where more than 1 million people converged to watch stars led by former Beatle Sir Paul McCartney. After today's church service, Prince William and Prince Harry delighted crowds on the Mall with a handshaking walkabout. The Jubilee long weekend will come to a close in traditional style, with the royal family on the balcony of Buckingham Palace for they fly past.
This is it, and that is it, and this is Morris dancing. The piper fell and he broke his neck, and he said it was a chancer.
In 1971, 5 lads got a notion to have them some fun. A record appeared that was called Morris On. It knocked people out and it hit #1. We said, this is the Morris, my friend. For this is the dance and it's England bred. Don't laugh at us, but with us instead. The tunes roll along in their very own time. They will not be rushed, for rushing's the crime. There are those who would shower the Morris with scorn. Far better for them had they never been born. When 6 men with big boots and sticks in their hands come calling to challenge for who's the best man. This is the Morris, my friend. For this is the dance and it's England bred. Don't laugh at us, but with us instead. The tunes roll along in their very own time. They will not be rushed, for rushing's a crime. The Morris is strange, there isn't a doubt. You might get good luck or you might get a clout. Some are traditional and some are revival. An album like this might assist its survival.
We're now on to Morris dancing, which of course is a great English tradition. And the Jubilee Morris Men were formed in 1977, which was the year of the Queen's Silver Jubilee. And it's the only group of its kind in South Africa.
Morris dancing, one of the last bastions of male chauvinism in the UK, has come to South Africa via the Jubilee Morris Men, seen here in action at a leading Johannesburg hostelry. The members donned their regalia for a very special occasion last weekend, and no prizes for guessing what that was. Yes, the Queen of England celebrated her birthday with pomp and splendour on Saturday. And her subjects around the world responded to the occasion.
Ladies and gentlemen, today being the Queen's official birthday, Morris men throughout the world perform on this day in honour of the Queen of England. Gentlemen, I give you Queen.
The Queen!
State President.
State President.
This art form has one of the longest and most colourful traditions of modern-day folk dance. It's reported to go back as far as the Druids, when human sacrifices at venues such as Stonehenge were common. But nowadays, Morris men confine their activities to the village green and the local pub, where all traditional male sides perform.
These are fertility dances intended to help the crops to grow. The handkerchiefs, for example, help are supposed to keep away the evil spirits, and the bells and the flowers are supposed to encourage the crops to grow. Now, those kind of dances are common all over the world, and we're fairly certain that in England they go back to the times of the Druids. But then in the Christian era, the church did what it very often did and absorbed old customs into its own traditions. And so the dances became a little more formalized. For example, they used to include the ritual sacrifice of maidens, and today, to be honest, not too much of that goes on, except in the more remote parts of England and Wales. And so we find today that the swords that would once have been used are now sticks, and that the dances are symbolic and so on. So it goes back a very long way, and the recorded history, in fact, begins as early as the year 1100.
Each region, village and county has a different tradition in both dance and dress.
Most of our dances come from the Cotswold region of England, that is, the counties of Oxfordshire and Gloucestershire. But the traditions apply throughout the country, throughout England, Wales, and to a large degree in Scotland as well. But the traditions vary quite considerably as the further away you get from any particular spot. So that in the north of England, for example, swords are very often used. We use sticks instead. We've got rather more civilized in the south of England.
Our jolly lads have been forced to break with all male tradition to accommodate one of the side's daughters and the accordionist.
Well, it is very much a male-dominated dance, but they were very short of a musician, and that's why I'm here.
But other than these two concessions to the female liberation movement, the Jubilee Morris men keep all the norms of the dance, and each part of their regalia has particular significance.
All the pieces of equipment on a Morris man's person and the things he carries with him, they all have a significance. I may say that all the sides have different colours and different bits and pieces, but they all have certain common elements. They will all, for example, be dressed with flowers or greenery or something of that kind in order to be able to show the crops that they can grow by example. The bells which you will see the dancers wearing are intended to wake up the crops and make them grow more rapidly. The sticks are very often used in a manner that suggests ploughing holes in the ground so that seeds can be planted. The handkerchiefs are to wave away the evil spirits that may prevent the crops from growing. So all these things are parts of the tradition which have grown up over the centuries, even the millennia.
Each individual dance has its own story to tell, and in some cases, the exact significance has been blurred by time. The cuckoo's nest, which you see here, has led to some lively debate in Morris dancing circles.
The cuckoo's nest is obviously some kind of reference to a cuckold, someone who was being cheated upon by his or her marital partner. As it happens, we like that dance very much. It's graceful and stately, and the tune is one of the most pleasant that we actually have to dance to. But where the dance... we can all guess where these names come from, but to be perfectly honest, the recorded tradition is not as important as the verbal one.
The Morris men celebrate a martial tradition, and their performances relive the heady days when Welsh, Scottish and Englishmen settled their differences with sword and stave on the common. The Jubilee Morris Men are a colourful and welcome addition to our exciting potpourri of national folk dancing.
Which just goes to prove if you can't fight 'em, wear a funny hat and wave a white handkerchief.
I shall handle the visiting royalty, of course, the guards of honour and the papal legate, and you can sort out the frolics.
The frolics?
Yes, the Morris dancers, the eunuchs, and the bearded women. You know, the traditional St. Leonard's Day entertainments.
I particularly hope they've got the Morris dancers. I love them.
Yes. I like the eunuchs.
Oh, yes! The eunuchs!
Oh, God, this is desperate, desperate!
We could have the Morris dancers, my lord.
Now, look. We are not that desperate. Morris dancing is the most fatuous, 10th-rate entertainment ever devised by man. 40 effeminate blacksmiths waving bits of cloth they've just wiped their noses on. How it's still going on in this day and age, I'll never know.
Sorry, so do you want them or not?
Oh, no. To leave out the eunuchs on St. Leonard's Day would be like... Well, it would be like leaving out the Morris dancers or the bearded women.
What is your profession?
God, a retired Morris dancer. That's all I need.
Well, if you can keep up, you can come.
What a wonderful man the postman is as he hastens from door to door. What medley of news his hands contain for high, low, rich and poor. In many a face he joy can trace, as many a grief he can see. When the door is open to his loud rap tap and his quick delivery. Every morning as true as the clock, somebody hears the postman's knock. Every morning as true as the clock, somebody hears the postman's knock. Number 1 he presents with news of her birth, with tidings of death. Number 4, at 13 a bill of terrible length he drops through a hole in the door. Now a cheque or an order, but 15 he leaves, when 16 his presence to prove. While 17 doth an acknowledgement get, and 18 a letter of love. Every morning as true as the clock, somebody hears the postman's knock. Every morning as true as the clock, somebody hears the postman's knock.
Koningin Elizabeth II van Brittanje se goue jubileumjaar is in Pretoria gevier met vrugbaarheidsdanse. Die Jubileum Morrismans het die tradisionele danse uitgevoer by die Britse Hoogkommissariaat in die stad.
Die Jubilee Morrismans is in 1977 gestig om die koningin se silwer jubileumjaar te vier. En vandag het hulle vrugbaarheidsdanse uitgevoer om haar 50ste jaar op die troon te vier. Sy is gehuldig as koningin van Brittanje en hoof van die Statebond. Die dansers het ook hulde gebring aan Suid-Afrika.
Without having to sing in Ukulele, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the Republic of South Africa.
South Africa. South Africa.
Die Morrismans sê hulle is bewus van die gevoel in Brittanje dat die monargie oudmodies en uitgediend is.
We recognise that times change and we're happy to pay our allegiance in the way that we feel that we should. But if times change, then society has to change with them.
Die man sê selfs al bestaan die monargie nie meer nie, sal die danse bly voortleef. Christian Play, SAIK, Pretoria.
heard the father, you've heard the son, and now you've heard the grandson of Morrison. That's all, folks. Happy dancing.